The enhanced game snatches up more weightlifters. Another non-super female squats 200 kilos. And the 90s V2 collection is now live. All that and more in this week's episode of the Weightlifting House News Show. So before we kick things off with the biggest lifts of the week, I want to mention that the 90s V2 collection is now live and it brings back the explosive energy of that decade into your training. We've taken inspiration from the bold designs of that decade and specifically from certain athletes like Mark Huster, Piros Dimas, Jean Jougan, and many of the other weightlifters who made that era so iconic. We've also launched our first women's range, which looks incredible. I'm so pleased with how it's all turned out. It was definitely worth the wait to make sure we had real expertise going into designing that side of things. My personal favourites, I think, probably are the Battle Tee in navy, the Trailblazer Tee in black, and you know what? I think I'm probably going to go with the sleeved singlet because sleeve singlets are goated and they need to be back in the world of weightlifting. This, the announcement sweatshirt and more are now available. You can go check them out at the link down below. Be quick because we expect a bit of a stampede from customers now that we're live. On with the show. Now, just for those of you who don't know, we do actually put timestamps down below. So if you want to skip to later parts in the biggest lift section or you want to jump straight to the enhanced game side of things, you're welcome to do just that. We're going to kick things off with somebody who we actually spoke with last week on the news show. It's Iryna Dombrovska from Ukraine, 77 kilo weightlifter. And this week she snatched 100 kilos for a double. Now, considering that she told us that she was sort of just building back into training, she was still in a high rep range sort of phase, the fact that she's able to be doubling 100 kilos when, I mean, her best, let's see, what is her best? I reckon it's 105. Okay, so I think my memory is correct. She did snatch 105 kilos at the World Championships. So doubling, 95%. It's pretty spectacular. Next up, we have Tu Yi from China. He's 88 kilos, and while you see this 217 that he just did, which is crazy in the clean and jerk, I want to tell you why I'm so excited about him. We spoke about this actually on a podcast recently. There aren't many new wave Chinese athletes coming into the sort of the A team. The women's side looks as strong as ever. Lo Shifang, Lao Guifang, Li Yan, unbelievable lifters. But on the men's side, you've got Li Huanhua, Giga Chad, who looks like he's made a decision to go to 110, by the way. More on that in another episode. But, we've lost Li Dayin out of the national team. Chen Lizhen's out. Li Fabin's out. Pan Yinhua's kind of, he's not turning out to be as much of a legend as we maybe thought. But Tu Yi, at the Chinese National Games a few months ago, he out-totaled what Jason Lopez hit to win the World Championships. He weighed a kilo more, but he out-totaled him by a kilo, and now he's just done 217, which is a weight that we've not seen from Jason Lopez. So when he enters that senior team, and we see him at the Asian Championships and the World Championships in Ningbo, a home World Championships later next year, I think he could be one of the next big things in Chinese men's weightlifting. Next up from Iraq, we have Salwam Jasim Aboud, who hit a 227 kilo, 500 pound clean and jerk out of the rack. We've seen him obviously years and years ago. He was probably in his best shape. He was hitting, in 230s in training. And then since then, it's been a little bit down. He took a few years off, but 227, that's always worth a mention. From Team GB, we have Amelie Pelta, who hit a 140 kilo back squat double. Now, I think she's probably, is she a 50? Was she a 55? Okay, so she was a 55, then she went up to 58. So probably in the new categories, she'll be... Wait, is the new category 58? It is, isn't it? Yeah, so she'll be around there. But she's one of the rising stars in British weightlifting. She's still young. I think she's 18 probably at this point. But 140 for a double. Huge lifting from her. Certainly worth a shout out there. And then next up, we have this guy. I don't know who he is. I think he's Swedish. It's hard to even tell from the page that the lift is from. It's a 160 snatch, by the way, and it looks great. It's tough to know if that's even his page because there's a picture of an older guy. Is it a joke? Is it him? Is it his coach? I don't know. I think he's Swedish. He's really good. I think he's a national record holder. But hopefully somebody who knows more about him will be able to fill us all in the comment section. Next up, we have some incredible hype for this lift. It's so funny. It's a 170 kilo clean and jerk by Yamashita Tatsuma, Japanese 65 kilo lifter. And the lift itself is great. And it sounds like it's probably a personal record, but his teammate is just screaming and hyping him up. Great lift, take a look. Next up, it's Chen Pojen, so Taipei, now 110. It's funny, he used to be a 94, and then he went 96, and then he went 102, and it was like, okay, that's probably where you need to sit, because, you're pretty short. He's pretty short. He's got the biggest legs in the world, but he's pretty short. And now he's gone 110. And he was 110 at the last World Championships, and he actually lifted pretty well, to be fair. He looked much better in the clean and jerk than we've seen. But recently he snatched 190 a few times, which is not something we see from almost any 110 in the world other than Akbar right now. But last week he doubled 185, which I think is even more impressive than the 190. So huge shout out to Chen Pojen. Very excited to see him at the Asian Championships. We just recorded a podcast. If you don't listen to the Weightlifting House podcast, you should. It's every week, and you also get the news show on there as well. At the upcoming Asian Champs in April, we've got Chen Pojen, Liu Hanhua, Giga Chad, Ruslan, Uncle Russ, Akbar Jarayev, the Iranian Reza, the junior world record holder. It's going to be unbelievable, basically. Next up, Team USA, we have Miranda Ulrey with a 128 kilo jerk triple-ish. Not quite, but kind of up there. She's a 59 kilo, which is a new class. Okay, so it is 58. 58 is the new class. Both of them, both her and Amelie are 58s. And they're both wearing a Weightlifting House belt, so you can check out the belt. We'll put a link to that down below as well if you're interested in one. So the I guess the world record kind of standard in that category is currently in the low 130s by Kim Il-gyong. Probably that's going to get pushed up to mid to high 30s at some point, but 128 for basically, well, it's not basically a triple, it's a double with a miss on the third, but it's close. Is very impressive for Miranda. Then our boy Marin Robu, who we've not seen, I don't feel like we've seen him do much since the World Championships. He likes to take a bit of time off. He always tells us that he goes on holiday. He takes his girlfriend. He gets whatever bonus he gets from the government, and he takes his girlfriend away on holiday. So they normally go somewhere nice. He's back in training. He's going to be realistically an 88 kilo weightlifter, and then probably dropping down to 85 rather than trying to go up to 95. He just doubled 165 kilos. Now, his best, obviously, he told us in the little documentary that we did with him last year that he'd snatched 185 kilos in training, which is insane. But he kind of got hurt from it, I think. But he's hitting 180 semi-regularly. But I'm always impressed with the speed with which he comes back to relatively heavy weights. 165 for a double, looking very casual. Not long after, returning, I think is pretty damn impressive. Then from Nigeria, we've mentioned her before, Sarah Matthew. Her leg strength is iconic, to be honest with you. She once told us that she front squatted 190 kilos, and I 100% believe it. This is a 200 kilo back squat. There aren't many 77 kilo women in the world who can do that. Obviously Olivia's done 225. We've seen that, but she's, the freak of all freaks. Sarah, I think, probably has got around 210 in her, maybe even more, but this 200 is very, very big. So, yeah, huge shout out to her. What's interesting, though, with her, before we move on, do you remember at the Islamic Games she lifted, and she went toe-for-toe with Sarah Ahmed, who also is one of the few who can squat 200 non-supers, and I think she actually beat Sarah in the snatch, something around 116-ish. She's got a very strong snatch, but then was below, she's like a 135 clean and jerker. So it's kind of interesting that for someone with such strong legs, she really struggles in the clean and jerk, but very strong in the snatch. Next up, Diyorbek Ruzmetov from Uzbekistan, 71 kilo weightlifter with a 175 kilo clean and jerk. Is it the biggest lift from a 71? No. We had 5 weightlifters going over 190 at the World Championships in that category, the most stacked category in the world right now. But even so, just, it's a big lift for him. Definitely worth a shout out there. And I don't think we've ever mentioned Diyorbek before. And then finally, in this section, Mattie Rogers, USA 77, probably. She tripled 127 kilos in the clean. Now, she's the sort of person who's done some really remarkable things for reps. She'll do like 150 for is that right? Maybe 140 for 10. She'll do like 10s in the back squats. She's tripling like 140 in the jerk. But, 127, yes, she's cleaned more. Yes, I think we filmed a clean and jerk on 141 for a PR, I think it was, in Saudi Arabia, 2023 at the World Champs. But 127 for a triple, very strong from Mattie. Next up, the Enhanced Games. I have remained silent on this topic for a little while. And you know what? I'm not going to go into this in the deepest of details. I think we'll do a podcast where we really break this down at some point. But it's now affected the sport of weightlifting as recognized by the IWF enough that it's become news in our sport. So I figured I would talk about it. Basically, the Enhanced Games has now brought on a bunch of other new weightlifters, and they announced them yesterday, 5 new weightlifters added to the previous 3. So you probably all know the previous 3. We have Bodhi Santavi from Canada, Wes Kitts from Team USA, and Beatriz Piron, Dominican Republic, I believe. We've got 3 very high-level weightlifters there. They've just announced that they've added Lady Solis, who was a 2-time world champion, 2017 and 19. Ali Mendez, the 2017 world champion, who we posted a training video on last week, totally unaware that this news was coming. And then there's Mariam Usman, who is a super. Her best total is 280. She would need 325 to get a world record total. Yoni Andika and Juan Solis. Basically, the way it works is there's a $500,000 bonus up for grabs per person. $250,000 if you get the world record in the snatch, $250,000 if you get the world record in the clean and jerk. I understand the incentives. I don't want to really talk right now on my thoughts as to sort of the morality, if you can even call it that, of the Enhanced Games. I think we probably all have our own personal thoughts on it. I can get into it at some point on the podcast. But I wanted to talk about a few things. The first one, now this is just silly, but the first thing I ever noticed when they announced Bodhi and when they announced Wes is that they're using AI mock-up images. Like that first image of them from the front, that's them. That's a photo of them. I'm pretty sure. I've met them both. I've been in training sessions with them. I've been in training halls with them both. Then the ones from the side, that is just AI generated. Like Bodhi does not look like that. Wes Kitts does not look like that. That double cleft chin, that side profile, it's like that's not even who these people are. And the fact that it's got so much funding, I was just kind of shocked that they're using that sort of generative AI. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, that did crack me up, I have to say. But yeah, I want to talk about what can they actually do. Can any of them actually break these world records that they're going for? Most of them, no. They've recently brought in 5 new weightlifters. I think that's more so because it would be a bit of an embarrassment if in May they had this Enhanced Games with just 3 weightlifters. They need to have more. So now they've got 8. It just fills in the numbers. Are they going to set world records? Almost all of them, probably not. Can anyone? Well, let's have a think. I think Ali Mendez is probably the most likely to. He's going to be competing as an 88 kilo weightlifter. The world record right now is 170. No, he is 177 by Jason Lopez. So he would need 178 kilos as an 88. He did 175 in 2017 Worlds, and he snatched 172 in Norway a few months ago. So he's only a few kilos off. Then there's Bodhi Santavi, who's going to be competing as a 94. He would need 183 kilos. So 2 things about that. One is that I saw him in person at a gym in the UK. I was over there with him. I saw him snatch 182 kilos and he was weighing about 94. So can he add a kilo to that? I mean, that seems quite possible. The only thing that could really get in his way there, other than age and injuries, is the fact that Carlos Nassar has an opportunity to break that world record before Bodhi will be attempting it at the European Championships. Carlos will have a go in that weight category. Now, previously weighing 93.35, Carlos did 188. If he gets to that level again, I think there's just no way Bodhi could do that. If he doesn't, then it's possible. And then there's Wes Kitts, who'll be competing at 110. He's going to have to beat Akbar's 196, so he'd need 197. Akbar might have already broken it again by then and pushed it up closer to 200. I don't think that's possible. The world's standard would be 237 right now. It would need to be hitting the clean and jerk. He's done 223, I think, at the Pan Am Champs. So I think it's unlikely there. But, I mean, you never know. You never know how different people are going to respond to different level of drugs. I'm not a huge fan of the enhanced games, I'll be honest. That's not to say I won't watch it. I'm interested to see what happens. But I think there's something a little bit more sort of sinister behind the scenes motivating it. And it's hiding behind this idea of like fair sport. So I think I've got a few problems with it. But I'm interested, and I'll report, different things, hopefully objectively, to you all. If you have any thoughts, do let me know down below. Something I did see was on the most recent post where they announced these 5 other athletes. Some Serious Insta, who's got a great weightlifting page on YouTube, Some Serious Weight, go follow, asked the question, where's Anton Pliesnoi? Because Anton Pliesnoi is not a competitive weightlifter anymore, but he's very good. Why haven't they picked him up? And Coach Ivan Rojas, who is the director for the Enhanced Games, and he's an international weightlifting consultant. I don't even know what that is. That's an interesting one. He originally commented on it and replied saying that Pliesnoi did not meet the requirements. Anton Pliesnoi replied to that. He saw it and he said, I literally lift more than all of your lifters, which I thought was kind of funny because he probably does. I mean, he snatched 182 recently. And Ivan Rojas replied saying true or something like that. But then removed his original comment saying that Anton did not meet the requirements for the competition. So I don't know. Is there a requirement beyond just how much you lift? I'm not sure, but it was kind of interesting that they didn't reach out to Anton Pliesnoi there, who's, by the way, the Georgian Olympic medalist from 2020. I think that's it. I'll leave enhanced game stuff. It's obviously going to massively divide the weightlifting fandom, and I think it's better if we just remain impartial on the topic. I'll be more open about my thoughts in the podcast. I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? You're sort of interested to see what happens. Not a huge fan of it, but I don't judge any of the athletes for doing it. They're basically retired lifters, and $500,000, it's pretty life changing. So as long as they don't then try and compete in the IWF again, which they wouldn't be allowed to anyway, then I suppose there's nothing wrong in that sense. Top 3 lifts from the week. I think we're going to have to go with Tu Yi for his 217 kilo clean and jerk. That's massive. That is beyond the world record. I should have made that clear. That's such a good lift that he hit in training. Then we're going to go with Sarah Matthew from Nigeria with that 200 kilo back squat. And thirdly, we'll go with the 90s V2 drop. So if you want to check out the collection, I'll put a link to that down below. Move quick before it all sells out, and let me know who you think had the best lift this week. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all on another episode of the Weightlifting House News Show.